I think we'll start with the first panel now, where, in today's day and age of rising CACs and all, what we'll discuss in this panel is how some businesses have managed to scale profitably by, hand-holding the consumer closely through the entire consumer life cycle journey. So we'll be starting off with the videos for Traya, Supertails, and Smitten, giving a brief introduction on what they do, and then we'll call on the founders post that to walk you guys through the discussion. Thank you.
Hair loss? I'm sure 6 in 10 people watching this video right now are facing this problem. And I know, as a matter of fact, that this is something you care about and would want to get your hair back if possible. You could be in your 20s, 30s, or 60s, doesn't matter. And if I said it's actually possible, the reaction would be, seriously? Well, I don't blame you. Everything that you have tried so far has failed you. The hair industry has thrown thousands of products at you claiming to solve hair loss, but the truth of the hour is that nothing has actually helped you. On one hand, you have the magic oils and shampoos and serums that have more or less nothing to do with hair loss, and I'll get to that in a minute. And on the other hand, you have clinics that are more aligned to sell you expensive procedures like transplants and PRP. Just FYI, in a country with 1.4 billion Indians, there are just 15,000 registered MD dermatologists, making clinics itself an inaccessible place for the masses. The vast majority of Indians are not even going to these doctors. They are in the trap of hair fall products, which actually don't work. And here's why. Hair loss is an internal problem, not cosmetic. It has types, stages, and multiple root causes behind it. Especially in the case of genetic hair loss, which is the most common. 3 in 5 men today face genetic hair loss. It has to be looked like a chronic disease, almost like diabetes. Now you tell me, if you had diabetes, would you apply an anti-diabetic cream or would treat it scientifically? With this very frustration, Altaf and I started Traya to truly bring efficacy to the table. We understand that people want results, and that is what we deliver with our 3 science approach. Traya combines the goodness of Ayurveda, dermatology, and nutrition, and thereby today we can proudly claim that Traya has an efficacy of 93% for our customers who have used Traya for about 5 months. We use tech to diagnose the type, stage, and the internal root causes behind your hair loss, and then use this medical information to build a customized regime that can help you get the results. Our prediction algorithm today uses data from more than 2.5 lakh Indians who have used Traya in the past to also predict the time it will take for you to see results, and also sometimes pick cases that can actually not regrow hair. Yes, we might disappoint you. Our hair test could straight up tell you that you can actually not grow any more hair because there are no active follicles. In a hair industry that's so misinformed, we're truly trying our best to build an honest brand. Beyond tech, we have a team of MD dermatologists and Ayurveda doctors who go through each customer's case carefully and prescribe their treatment plan. That brings us to our formulation. Well, we had the Herculean task of making allopathy compatible with Ayurveda. We use clinically proven molecules from dermatology that directly work at a follicular level to combat hair loss. On the other hand, we use Ayurveda and create very unique mix of formulations there that work on the internal root causes that actually accelerate and cause hair loss. When the two come together, we get long-term results. So be it thyroid, PCOS, stress-triggered hair fall, postpartum, or genetic hair loss, we have a formulation for each of them specifically. We all know food is a very important aspect when it comes to your hair. But have you ever heard a hair company selling diet plans? Well, we do that. We take this third science equally seriously. We build customized diet plans and meal plans for each of our customers based on Ayurvedic principles. While we provide the best treatment, the hair growth results only comes when the customer uses this regime for 3 to 5 months. The North Star metric here at Traya is not revenue or the first sale. It's actually getting people to see results. And hence we go out of our way to make this happen. Traya has a beautiful team of hair coaches that works with the customer throughout this journey to guide, support, and motivate them to reach the finish line. 2023 was an exciting year for us. We are now close to 300 CR net revenue run rate. We were able to grow 3 times this last 1 year sustainably, and this happened due to our focus on brand building, retention, and a healthy LTV. In 2023, we launched Traya Women, a new category, and we are very excited to see how it's shaping up. We also, for the first time, launched the Traya mobile app, and it has now ranked number 3 in India among the entire health and fitness category on Google Play Store. Traya is now ready to be a Bharat brand. Even today, 70% of our revenue comes from non-metro cities. The online population in Bharat is growing exponentially, and our focus in the next 1 year is to keep scaling through brand-led activities within the online space. Traya is on its way to recycle 50% of the plastic that it will produce in 24 as per the mandate. However, being environment friendly is very close to us, and we are being more ambitious here. There are 3 ways that any brand can be more environment friendly. Reduce the amount of plastic that you are producing, reduce the amount of virgin plastic and move to recycled plastic, or 3, and the best, is to have the dream of being zero plastic and use alternative materials. We've spent a lot of time and effort in working in all 3 directions. In fact, we have a prototype ready, and in 24, we are launching all our SKUs in a completely new packaging solution, which would be made by 50% recycled plastic, it overall helping us move towards the dream of being plastic positive. Our R&D team is also working on alternative materials like metal to create new packaging solutions. Well, we have just scratched the surface. We would like to take our innovation stack of tech, people, process, and formulations to every household in India and beyond. Today, we are a team of 650 passionate people, all working towards this one dream of building the most efficacious, honest, and loved health brand. With a clear vision and a culture that reflects action for buyers, frugality, courage, and a customer-first mindset, we have an engine all revved up to unlock the next set of growth.
Love is a four-legged word, and we couldn't agree more. Ask any pet parent what they want for their pets, and they will tell you they want a life which is the happiest, healthiest, and the longest for their pets. And that is exactly what I wanted for my cat back in 2011 when I got her, named her Nifty, but realized the ecosystem wasn't there. I met my co-founders Aman and Vineet. Both of them are pet parents, by the way, and we realized we share the same problems when it comes to pet care. And we decided that let's come together and solve it for the larger masses. And what do we solve? Let's give access to the highest quality pet products, the best of healthcare, pet pharmacy, services, but most importantly, information of how to take care of your pet. That's what we do.
India is home to more than 35 million pets, out of which 80% are dogs and 20% are cats. And this pet population in India is growing at a more than 10% rate year on year. And this growth rate is fueled by declining fertility rates, delayed marriages, need for oxytocin fulfillment, and eventually peer network effect. Pets are very similar to human kids. They display same amount of love, affection, and anxiety. While the ecosystem for the baby care in India is largely solved for, but when we look at the pet care ecosystem in India, it's largely broken. More than 90% of the pet parents in India are first-time pet parents, and they are continuously seeking information, knowledge, and guidance. And this provides a large opportunity for Supertails to build a complete pet care ecosystem in our country.
And that's how Supertails was founded. Our mission is to make pet parenting easier and handhold these first-time pet parents through the ups and downs of their pet parenthood journey. On one side, we solve
for the primary product needs of the pet parents through our e-commerce platform, and on the other side, we handhold them through our in-house vets and behavior experts. We are over 2 years old now and have grown to a 100 crore ARR company. Every day, we ship 1200 plus orders, and we have provided online vet consultations to more than 65,000 pet parents, the largest in the country. We have a strong supply chain, and over the years, we have managed to achieve a delivery time of 24 hours in more than 70 cities. We are now launching 2-hour delivery in our endeavor towards continuing to make pet parenting easy and extremely delightful.
Today, we are top 3 distribution channels for the largest pet care brands in the country. Think of Royal Canin, Mars, Nestle. But here's an opportunity. Where are the homegrown brands here? And with this challenge, we said, let's get a world-class chef, a world-class vet, as well as a nutritionist to come together and create a product which ensures longevity for pets, which has the highest grade ingredients, and that's how Henlo was born. We produce Henlo in-house. This year, we're slated to produce more than 200 tons of this product, and we are expanding the range to move from dogs currently to even cats. What we promise to our consumers is a very high quality product, the highest metabolizable energy, as well as ensuring the healthiest and the happiest pet. The way we think about building a large pet care company is like Lego blocks. The first thing we started with is solving for accessibility of pet products. We added online veterinary consultation to this, and because of that, we were able to seamlessly add another Lego block of pharmacy. Looking at the opportunity of adding a homegrown pet food brand was this large 4th block.
Having done the largest number of vet consultations, we realized that there exists a large gap in the accessibility of pet medicines. Through our pharmacy at Supertails, we deliver pet medicines to your doorstep within just 2 hours. And if you are unsure about what medicines to get or don't have a valid prescription, our vet does consultations with you and provide a valid prescription and guidance. It's like having a family vet, just like humans have family doctors. Most pet parents, particularly the first-time pet parents, do not know what to do when their pets show sign of discomfort or poor health. And to solve this, we have assigned a dedicated pet relationship manager to every customer, a pet buddy with whom you can speak anytime for any pet related query, be it nutrition, healthcare, or it can be a small question. More than 60% of our customers have a dedicated pet relationship manager today, solving for their pets' well-being.
Another big channel of disseminating information for us is Instagram, where we use our in-house vets as influencers to educate customers in an entertaining manner. Today, we are the largest pet care community in India, with more than 3 lakh plus followers across social media channels. We also use channels such as Quora and YouTube to handhold pet parents and answer their day-to-day queries. We have a team of young, energetic folks, a majority of them below the age of 27, and almost all of them are pet parents. 50% of our employees are women. We thrive on our core values of friendship, mutual love and respect, curiosity and bias for action. At Supertails, each employee is given 50% of their CTC as ESOPs so that they feel like they are a part of the growth and success at Supertails. We look at Supertails as an opportunity for young professionals to grow and become future entrepreneurs.
We are very excited in what's coming up next. Taking this whole approach forward, we're looking at launching offline stores, which are Supertail clinics, and this would be a foray into offline healthcare in the country. We're also launching UltraPause, the first of its kind pet fitness tracker, and we're super excited for it. And the best part of all this is this community of pet parents. They make this journey absolutely worth it. We'll continue to work towards making pet parenting easy for everyone. and make Supertails the most loved pet care company, not just in India, but across the globe.
Indian consumers today are going through a dual transformation. One side, they're getting exposed to the convenience of shopping online, and on the other hand, they're getting plethora of options to choose from. While it is very good for the ecosystem, think of it from a consumer perspective. You're utterly confused. And Indian consumers typically are very trust deficit. Researchers say 40% of the Indian consumers don't trust any online reviews. So now how do you convince a consumer to adopt your product or brand unless and until you are able to deliver the experience to the consumer? And that's a single problem Sid and I set out to solve for when we started Smitten in 2015. And today we are the largest product discovery and trial platform in the country, and we're very proud to say that. So now that you know what we do, let's define the market a little bit for you. So today India has 100 million core online shoppers who pretty much shop at least 2 to 3 times a week online. If you just take this audience and the way their basket is expanding and the way they are kind of adopting new products, there is a need of 10 billion product sampling units today in the market which Indian consumers can absorb. No one is solving this problem other than Smitten. So with our unique try-at-home product sampling experience that's delivered to the consumer doorstep, today we have reached out to more than 20 million users, giving them a taste and experience of a lot of new digitally native brands to also a lot of legacy brands which otherwise they will not use it. As a result of this large-scale sampling we do across beauty, grooming, makeup, food and beverage, health and wellness category, primarily all the lifestyle categories today Indian consumer aspires for, we generate a lot of rich data about their intent, their likes, their dislikes. And we capture all of this data in terabytes and process it every day. And kind of we have layered artificial intelligence on top of it to predict the consumer's future basket. And this is something today, honestly, other than Smitten, no one has access to, because we deal with millions of the consumers in a phase where they're utterly confused and making a decision of what is right or wrong for them. With this data, we have launched a very unique product called Smitten Pulse, which is a SaaS platform for us, which is available to the brands, which they can use for multiple purposes during their growth journey, starting from insighting to consumer research to analytics to advertising, anything they want to do. We launched Smitten Pulse just 6 months back, and we can't be more excited about the future, because every day it's a process of new discovery for us, as well as when we are trying to kind of make our consumers, millions of consumers, try something new. If you look at Smitten Pulse, it's a very unique platform. The reason being, the advertising, the consumer research, and the insights and analysis, it all converges to one platform. And because we have a view of the consumer across the funnel, starting from when they are discovering new things to what they're trying to what they're buying, we are actually able to deliver a lot more efficiency to the brands in terms of their go-to-market approach. Just to give you a sense, today a standard digital advertising conversion funnel would range anywhere between 1 to 2%. And through a sampling funnel, we have been consistently able to deliver anywhere between 5 to 8% conversion or a new customer acquisition to a brand. And that's a real power to the brands, honestly. And that's why I said we can't be more excited about the future of this. Glad to say that within just few months of launch, we have been empaneled as a preferred research partner by many large brand houses like Unilever, Dabur, Marico, and the list goes on. Similarly, our advertising solution, which is a very new cutting-edge self-serve advertising platform that leverages the intent of so many consumers to give a very precise targeting to brands, have been adopted by more than 50 brands in just the first month of launch. And today, if you see, almost every month we are onboarding about 20 to 30 new advertisers who are leveraging the power of our very, very targeted ad platform and delivering much better ROI than other digital platforms. While we have grown to more than 20 million users online who love our product and who use Smitten as a part of their lifestyle, we are now growing very aggressively into tier 2, tier 3 towns. What we realized that we can play a very pivotal role in those places where the new internet user is just getting exposed to the online commerce. There we can actually be a bridge between the new age brands and the new internet users who are further trust deficit. So we are opening a lot of retail stores in this tier 2, tier 3 cities where consumers can walk into a retail format in a store environment, get guided and kind of experience the products and have a touch and feel before they decide what is right for them. With a very seamless technology which kind of transcends from offline to online and vice versa, we have been able to be a part of a life of a consumer, whether they're offline or online. And as we grow from here, we are going to build a very robust omnichannel presence with a very strong tech stack behind it. Now coming to the most important question, show me the money. Very, very happy to say we have grown 6x in last 3 years and we continue to grow year on year. We have built a very dominant positioning in the sampling market, literally not having any other competition. While we are growing aggressively, we also are very, very aware that we have to grow profitably. And that's the path we are looking forward to for next 3 to 4 years. We are already on a strong path to profitability and will probably be breaking even in another 2-3 months. So while we grow smitten from here, we are going to grow it responsibly, sustainably, and we're going to kind of build it to a legacy which Sid and I and every one of you would be proud of. Starting from a simple idea, it's been a very humbling experience for both Sid and myself to see and enjoy the love what Sid has been getting from all over the country. We have been consistently rated 4.4, 4.5 across multiple platforms by millions of users. We have delivered more than 100 million product samples to consumer doorsteps over our journey. We have received more than 10 million feedbacks from the consumers post their trial experience. Today, consumers spend more than 500 million minutes on the app every month, and that's nothing short of a magic for us.
Yeah, so maybe, Altaf, maybe we can get started with you. Hair loss, has been a huge pain point across segments in India, going across stratas. And you guys have managed to scale profitably, primarily on your D2C channel. So just would love to understand what's been your secret sauce and how have you managed to personalize the entire customer lifecycle journey.
So like the Kung Fu Panda says, there is no secret sauce, right? It's actually pretty simple. The product needs to work. And that gives you organic, and so our dipstick says that each satisfied customer gives us around 7 referrals. Unfortunately, we are in a space where there cannot be, the referral cannot be tech enabled, right? Like it's not going to be very common for a person to say that, hey, it's not going to be a product where he's going to put it out on Facebook. So we have to use other methods to figure it out. But I think because the product works, we keep on getting referral, and that helps us getting a controlled CAC. In terms of personalized journey, I think, and that's a very important part as well. While we try to market it in a different manner, there are multiple data points, right? Like, I think these two guys would have way more data points than I do. But in general, we would have close to around 300 data points per person that is combined from your app, your web, the talking, and within app there would be subcategories, and that helps you personalize the whole journey, and that helps you give a better CAC overall as well.
Now, maybe Varun, coming to you, obviously pet adoption has seen a significant uptake, especially post-COVID. And, you guys have gone about building a platform which, handholds all these new pet parents coming, who have come on board recently. So again, how have you gone about, personalizing the entire journey and, making sure, that that they are getting what they need from the platform as a full stack platform?
Sure, Prag, thank you. So yeah, we are in pet care, so a very unique category. There's some really good parts to it. The category is emotional to start with. The difficult part, you just can't bluff with the consumer, right? And that's where we figured out the first pain point. And because, the North Star metric would remain to be retention, right? And user journeys become super critical when it comes to taking the consumer and giving them the right solution. So the first point was, how do you figure out what is the real pain point? 95% of Indians are first-time pet parents. And that itself stands an opportunity where you impart the right knowledge to them, and we knew if we can do that, we would be in a much better place. But then we realized that you can actually take an even higher order problem solving. Don't just give them information, walk them through the whole journey. And the word that you mentioned, hand-holding, is actually the perfect word for that, because we feel, or at least when we started, we said we are a hand-holding company. We're a pet hand-holding company, right? A lot of people are getting pets. And that helped us define what we need to do. The next part was, now that we know that what problem statement we need to solve, how do we do it? And we said, well, I can tell anything about pets, but if it comes from a position of authority, it'll solve. I mean, we saw in that Traya video also, Altaf and Saloni talked about they having, oh no, you also talked about. Yeah, so, they talked about dermatologists and people on their own platform. And we kind of took it from there and we said, if we have vets on our platform who talk to these consumers, imagine the kind of impact, and they will listen. If consumers' real problem gets solved, they would do better pet parenting. They do better pet parenting. They're happier with the pet. A happier pet is a happier parent, and at the end of the day, the platforms are all about trust. So I know the mental model that we followed was exactly this. Let's handhold the consumer, create multiple touch points. Our first touch point was getting a pet relationship manager. Every new customer gets a pet relationship manager, and in turn, they make the customer talk to the vets. This itself is a large journey, and practically that's where handholding for us starts. Then you can take it anywhere. It's been a 2.5-year-old journey, so the first part, I think we've done it right with the handholding.
Now, Swagat, coming to you, like sampling has always been like a black box, offline samplings for brands. And for most consumers, a very underwhelming experience because they may or may not actually even want the sample. So, but you guys have managed to solve it in a very personalized manner for consumers, and also, allowing brands to target who they really, who they want to reach out, the relevant TG. So how have you, gone about building this entire personalized, customized experience?
Well, let me tell you, it's been a long journey. So we have been in business for 7 years now. And I keep telling this, I keep joking about it. We are probably the odd one out in the fireside fund too. We are not a consumer brand, but we are building for consumer brands. And today, if you see with so many consumer brands coming in, the biggest problem they find is in discovery and adoption. While the discovery problem has been solved to a great extent by the media, digital media, multiple platform coming in, if you look at the adoption problem and if you think like a consumer marketer, the biggest influencer of somebody's adoption decision is one's own experience. And when we started, we said that while the world is moving towards digital, e-commerce, and getting more and more, let's say, touch-free, how do you solve for this experience problem, right? And of course, when you look at the offline channel, and I'm sure a lot of these consumer brands here, and there are mature consumer brand houses here, they face this problem day in, day out. First of all, you don't have targeting. You don't know who you are giving out your sample to. Second, you don't have a data feedback loop closure. Third and most important thing is you don't have a lean-in usage of your trials, what you're giving out to the market, right? It's a very lean-back experience. You're giving the user something, the user may use it and may not use it. 70% of the users who get the sample in a lean-back mode don't even use the product. And that's what we set out to solve for, and we said, hey, what if we could kind of build a platform where the consumers just come to discover, but not only discover, think of it as Instagram Plus, right? Where with a click of a button, I could get a miniature product delivered at my doorstep whenever, however I want. The second thing we said is, if you give anything free to the consumer doesn't value it. Second, how do we induce a lean-in usage? So we, for the first time globally, we actually made the consumer pay to try a thing. You will not find this model across anywhere in the globe. And the reason we did that was, if you are not kind of involved enough, then a sample should not be kind of going to your hands. It's a loss of ROI for everyone in the ecosystem. And then, of course, kind of using technology, using AI, ML, and all the newest technology that are coming in to close that data feedback loop. And that's what we have kind of solved for. You will see Smitten as a full stack play, solving across the consumer funnel, both for the demand and the supply side.
So, Altaf, the holy grail for any D2C platform is always in terms of retention, right? What kind of retention cohorts you have. So what are some of the, initiatives or customer retention hooks you have leveraged successfully to, ensure that your LTVs have kept growing while the CAC has been under control. So it would be great to learn from that.
I think both of them explain those points in different part, right? Like one is, and most critical, which comes across from different founders, is your consumer insight. Each consumer interview could last from your 15 minutes to your 1 hour, but the insight that gives you is very critical for a company to form the path for them. Right? A consumer doesn't want a call, a consumer doesn't want a WhatsApp, maybe he wants a WhatsApp, whatever those things are. And personalization of those things are very critical to help them achieve this goal. End of the day, all of us as human beings want to get better, want to look good, want their pet to be better, want to try new products. But unfortunately what happens is life happens and you forget about it. At core, Traya is a pure play habit building company, right? Like 90% of my time, Saloni time, would be spent on how do we influence a person to change a particular aspect. And even the most minor thing could change that, right? So for example, we just did one simple thing was instead of saying discount, we just said best deal. And that could change the mindset. And it kind of comes from a pure mechanism, which is just A/B testing. Right? We don't have a right or wrong in Traya, it is just A or B, right? And whatever the data says, we'll just believe it.
Varun, even at Super Tails, I mean, you've been various customer delight initiatives you have been doing, both online and offline, very smaller initiatives also. So, so would you, I mean, like what has really worked in terms of, helping in getting the customer love and loyalty for Super Tails?
Thanks, Prayag. So, a lot of us talk about loyalty, and I believe, as a mental model, we believe it's all about trust, especially for platforms, right? Even more so for platforms, I would say. Between Amazon and Flipkart, I'm sure everybody has one choice. Between Uber and Ola, everybody has one choice. But practically, the platforms remain the same. Your choice is dependent on your trust on the platform. For us, the mental model for building trust was you get a consumer, you acquire a consumer, and then you solve an emotional need for them. And I'm purely talking about Super Tails and pet care here. So you acquire a consumer, you solve for an emotional problem of them, which is, we talked about our vets and our pet relationship managers. That in turn creates love. That in turn, creates a lot of trust, right? And it has to be augmented with a lot of reliability. So the way we think about creating love, and I'm not answering exactly on that because we feel it's a whole large piece where a consumer decides to come back on the same platform to buy a product which is available in offline, on Amazon, on Flipkart, in all the places. So why does it need to choose Supertail? And to answer for how we build that trust is, they say that the science of trust is reliability, and the art of trust is creating customer love. And both of these two have to go in tandem. We do very small interventions. Altaf also mentioned sometimes it's as small as an experiment which might or might not work. But, we are in a very interesting situation because a small thing like asking the name of a pet is amazing. And I'll tell you why that becomes very amazing. I'm sure a lot of us calls our friends and we ask them about how they are. We ask them how's their kid, and we name them, how's the name of the kid, etc. I'm sure a lot of your friends have pets as well. Very unlikely that we call them and we say, hey, how are you? How's the kid? How's the pet? Very unlikely. Now you just flip it apart. I'm sure some of you are pet parents. For you, your pet is your kid. You don't differentiate. And this is that whole emotional part that, of creating love that I talked about. And this is what we do. We, creating customer delight doesn't need to be, sending or doing something very large for them. Asking a consumer the name of the pet will bring a smile to their face. And that builds more trust. That's the art of, like I said, building trust is customer love. We do so much more. For every consumer, we actually send them a pet tag. A pet tag is quite common. On one side, we write the name of the pet. On the other side, we put the phone number of the pet parent. Very functional. The difference that we do is we don't brand our super tails there. We just say, hey, it's for you, right? It's for your pet. We have 40,000 pet parents for which we have the birthdays of the pet actually, right? We send them birthday cards. You would have never heard a company sending a birthday card for their pet. They don't even expect it. And we don't tell them we're going to send it. It's not part of a package of you take $5.99 and we'll send you a birthday card for your pet. No. We send it because we actually believe that that one smile on the consumer will actually build that trust. So most of our interventions you will see is that small nudges with, Altaf also talked about, and those small nudges as how do I make the life of the customer better and how do I bring a smile to their face. That works for our category and that's what we do.
Swagat, the one of the mantras we keep hearing nowadays is data is the new fuel. And you guys are leveraging data to build a very interesting customer analytics and a research platform specifically for brands. You are also, building an ad platform to basically leveraging this data to, help brands bring down their customer acquisition costs. So would you want to share a bit on that?
Yeah. Prag, I get very scared when I talk about data in any forum. There's a lot of data activism happening on privacy, personal data sharing and all that. But see, at the end of the day, I think we are moving into a very interesting world where it will be a cookieless world. And I'm sure you all must have kind of heard about it, where having a kind of a direct customer contact or a first party data kind of becomes very critical for any company. And at the same time, you also owe that responsibility in terms of how you are using that first party data. So thankfully for us, because we are an app platform, so every user kind of comes and registers. And when they register, we ask them for a lot of consent. And today, if you see, we are one of the very few apps which is probably kind of trending in the top 20, 30 shopping apps in the country, who ask for minimal amount of data which consumer needs to disclose or will be shared with someone else. But however, in this whole world of digital web, we have figured out that you can have multiple tools where you can connect the user behavior across multiple platforms and kind of mine that data. And then we kind of focus a lot more inwardly in terms of what the user is doing on our platform. And we have built in massive data pipelines in terms of storing that data, processing that data at scale, and making sense out of it by putting in machine learning, AI, whatever possibilities we can currently within our tech infrastructure. So today, if you see, just to give you a sense, we track every single movement of the user even when there is a pause. Not many platforms will kind of even track the pause, because for us, the pause is a signal that when you are scrolling, and typically a user scrolls like 400 feet of content in a single day. In that, if you are stopping for 2 seconds in some place, it's a very strong intent signal that something piqued your interest. Now imagine that this data is kind of stored in terabytes now, and we are processing and we are trying to make sense out of it in terms of users' interest, not only what they're today interested in, but possibly what they could be interested in future. And one of the things, the reason kind of sampling becomes a very critical entry point for us is sampling is the most authentic proxy of an intent you can find for any consumer. Today, if you see a Google or a Facebook or anyone, they are essentially trying to make sense out of a data of a consumer intent by having a proxy of the browsing behavior. The browsing behavior may not necessarily translate to an actual action all the time. Similarly, if you look at any platform like an Amazon or a Flipkart, they're trying to make sense out of the data of what the user is actively searching on their platform today and what the user is intending to buy today. What data we have is what the user could possibly be buying 6 months, 9 months down the lane. And I keep giving this example, right? Like 10 years back, when the user was buying a shampoo, they were never buying a conditioner. Like 10 years of consistent sampling, kitting, and every FMCG company has done that. After that, it became a behavior. Now we are trying to sell a hair mask. We are trying to sell a overnight leave-on hair conditioner or a preconditioning gel. How do you get user used to those things long before the user actually becoming a purchaser of that? And that's the signal which essentially kind of stitches everything we do across, be it our ad targeting. So our ad platform today is India's, I can proudly say, India's first true consumer shopping intent targeted ad platform. If you want to sell a body oil, my ad platform can tell you that, okay, these are 500,000 or 1 million people who are more likely to buy a body oil rather than Google giving a signal of saying that, hey, these are all the people who have affinity towards a beauty category. Similarly, if you want to do a research, so our platform, you can easily target any consumer cohort and take a feedback from them in 24 to 48 hours. We have done researches with as high as 10,000 sample size in 72 hours. And my system kind of automatically kind of recruits audience for you, saying who are closest to your purchase funnel, who are farthest from the purchase funnel, and how do I kind of orchestrate a market reality where I am removing a research bias. And then kind of go administer a survey. Also, we have built in algorithms where when a consumer fills up a research on our platform, many a times to get the incentive, consumers do A, B, 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 C, 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 and all that. So starting from kind of having pattern recognition algorithms to what kind of a eyeball the consumer is having with a bit of a UX scam audits. A lot of technology has been built in terms of weeding out a lot of irrelevant researches which kind of could be soiling the data. So it's a very kind of, I would say, deep tech data play that we are kind of building, which can help brands not only kind of understand the insights and the trends, but also engage with the consumer in a jiffy with just click of a button. And that's the power we are giving back to the brands through data.
Can open it up to the audience for maybe 1 or 2 questions.
Hi everyone, this is Muskan. Hi Swagat, my question is from you. There are different segments in lifestyle products in Smitten. How are you seeing the demand growth in all of them, if I would ask? From the different channels as well?
See, again, depends what you're calling category or this thing. So for us, we kind of segment into 250 micro categories. Like I'll tell you, because I was talking about the body oil as an example, right? So if you see 3 years back, at least, I mean, our algorithms essentially looks at the penetration, possible penetration. The body oil penetration was less than 1%. Today, we are sitting almost close to about 4 to 5% penetration. 4 years back, when we looked at a serum as a category, the penetration was in single digit, which has now gone to in the early 20s. So there is if you see the consumer basket is widening kind of a lot faster than any one of us could have imagined. And across the categories kind of we are seeing it. I mean, I can keep going on about which categories are going up and down, but I think we can take that offline. But today, I was kind of essentially, our system also keeps kind of popping up interesting ingredients which are catching up, right? And 4 days back, I was looking at an ingredient, it's called witch hazel. And I was like, first of all, I mean, being in the industry also, honestly, I didn't know what witch hazel does, right? It has an anti-skin inflammatory kind of a property. And if you look at it, so it has kind of started catching the fancy of consumers. So people are going and actively searching. Almost 1.5% of our users on our platform have actively searched for a witch hazel ingredient related product in last 1 month, which is very surprising for us. So as a brand, if you want to consider your NPD funnel, should you consider this or should you not consider this? And because I got interested, I immediately launched a survey and we asked our users, okay, how many of you have heard of even witch hazel, which has a skin benefit? And how many of you have actually tried anything which has a witch hazel, and how many of you are actually willing to buy it? So the interesting thing was 60% of the users were aware and 50% of the users are considering, are open to buying, but actually only 20% of the users have bought anything. So I was just telling someone it's a perfect candidate for your NPD, right? So a lot of such insights like today when you come to the platform, it's completely customized for you. So I can kind of run down offline, but we can get into the details of it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think I'm getting multiple buzzers that our time is up. So thanks Swagat, Varun and Altaf for this wonderful session. Thank you.